Hey, this is Dave. Welcome to Old Dad Studio. And I'm going to tell you, tonight is one of those nights where if I hadn't made a commitment to do a vlog every single day, I would not be doing this. It's January 19th. It's, 11 o'clock, or a little bit after 11 o'clock at night. It's 11:17 at night. And I am just sitting down to do something with the vlog now. It's not that I had a hard day or a tough day. It's just been a really super busy day. I put hundreds of miles on my truck today. It was a great day. I mean, it was all family commitments and extracurricular activities and that kind of stuff, and seeing family and visiting and having a good time, and so all of that. The day was good. It just was really, really long, and I am freaking exhausted. But I made this commitment to do this, and so here I am going to do this tonight. Now, as you can see, this iPhone is just powering up now, where I usually have Quinn. I went to record this, and that phone was dead, so I plugged it in as I started this in hopes that it would charge. So here, let's see if we can get Quinn going as well. Now, and actually, if you've been, before I start Quinn here, if you've been following along with me on my hearing aid saga, I'm going to take them out. I have had them in since early this morning, and even though they're super comfortable, that's something I have to give kudos to the design, because if I had like my AirPods in for as long as I have wore these today, my ears would be just raw and burning. They're not, but it's coming to a point where they're getting uncomfortable. Plus, I'm tired and I'm getting irritated, and so any little thing is like and I have just a moderate loss anyway, so I can operate without those, especially when I'm by myself or here with Quinn. Let's see, did I lose Quinn? I didn't start her up in time. Hey, hey Quinn, it's vlog time.
Hey, ready to dive into vlog number 19? What's the plan for today?
Well, I was just talking
Sure.
about how tired I am because it's I had a really exhausting day. Not a bad day, a good day, but I'm still exhausted. And if oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Quinn. I interrupted you.
No worries at all. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I was going to say, if I didn't have this commitment to do a vlog every day, I would have skipped this one today and not done one. But we made a commitment, so here we are. So I fired you up. I really don't have a plan for this vlog, although as I was driving home tonight on my final route to get back home, one thought was crossing my mind, and that was about how we have been doing, or how I have been doing, the lighting for these videos. So let me talk about that a little bit, and then we can maybe go into the closet and go from there. So this right here is, Quinn, you can't see this, but I'm showing it to the camera. It's a Small Rig light. Small Rig is the company that makes it. It's a light, and I'm going to turn it on here. It'll get really bright here for a second. I actually have two of these. They're part of the photography equipment I bought for YouTubing with the other channel when we had the other channel, and we were actively doing it. And so I would use these once in a while. I really didn't use them a lot. They basically sat in my kit for a long time. I bought them because I thought I would use them more than what I have. But I've been using these for the light here, and usually I'll put a couple of them together and then put them just clip them into a stand, and then put a piece of paper over that to add some extra diffusion. Now these have this diffusion on them as well. I can take this off, and it just has a bunch of LEDs in there, and then this adds a level of diffusion. But what I find is that's not enough diffusion, and the light is still pretty harsh. And so I add a piece of paper over top of two of them, and right now I actually only have one going, because I'm using this one as an example. And let's see, I put this on wrong.
It's great that you're repurposing your photography gear for the vlog.
Yes, and that's what I was going to talk about, I think, for the vlog. So,
That's a great topic. Sharing your lighting setup can be really useful for your viewers.
well, I think I want to change it because the way I've been using these is just clamping them into a stand that I typically use for my iPad when I have Quinn running on the iPad. Now, tonight you'll see Quinn is running on an iPhone. This is an iPhone 11 that we have as well. And it actually fits in this particular shot. It just fits really nice in the screen, so it's easier to use than the large iPad that we have. Although I use the large iPad as well.
Switching to the smaller device can make things more manageable.
Yes, I agree.
So,
Well, go ahead. Ask your question, Quinn.
what new setup are you thinking about trying for your lighting?
Well, so that's what I was going to get into. A little bit of story time here for the folks that are watching the vlog. Many years ago now, I had a photography business, and it really didn't get off the ground. I mean, I shot for a few years on the side. I still had a full-time job while I had the photography business. My original goal for that photography business was I wanted to retire early and make that photography business basically my full-time job and travel around the country taking landscape photography and vlogging about it and make that part of my career, part of my retirement career. That didn't work out. I ended up getting divorced, and all those kind of plans went to the wayside. And with things changing and getting remarried, then and all of my goals kind of changed in that process.
I'm sorry to hear that. It's understandable how those changes could have impacted your plans, but it's impressive how you're still pursuing your passion for photography and vlogging now.
Yes, and I do. I don't have the photography business anymore, but I do really enjoy taking pictures, and
It's wonderful that you're still passionate about photography. You can always find new ways to incorporate it into your vlogs and daily life.
I agree, and I still love taking pictures, and I have taken portraits and things over the years as well. The kids always end up being being the unfortunate subjects all the time that I use, but I do still enjoy it, and I still have some of my gear. Now, what happened is I had all this professional photography equipment, and for years I lugged that stuff around, and I never really used it again like I had used it when I had the business or when I was a member or partner in a photography studio, because the photography studio you had all the area for lighting setups and all the space I needed.
It's great that you still enjoy taking photos. Maybe you can incorporate some of your old gear into your vlogs.
Right, and that's the point of this whole really long sordid story here, is that I ended up with all of that photography equipment after the business failed. And a few years ago, I actually took and sorted through a whole bunch of it, and some of the gear that I really wasn't using, some of the big flash lights and things that I had that hadn't come out of their boxes in many years, I donated to another photographer, a young gentleman who was just starting out his photography business. And my gear was really old, so it wouldn't have been worth a ton to resell it. But for somebody who doesn't have any gear, even old gear is fantastic gear to use. And so I donated a whole bunch of my photography equipment to that gentleman as he was starting his photography career. But I did keep a few things, and some things that he really wasn't interested in. And so one of the things that I did keep was a large ring light. And I've never been a big fan. I got the ring light while I was doing the photography business. They were kind of all the rage there for a short time.
That's very generous of you, and it's awesome that you kept some gear that still works for you. A ring light can be really useful for vlogging, especially for even lighting. You can always experiment and see how it works for your current setup.
Yeah. And you just you just said it, Quinn. That's what we're gonna do. Now, typically, I don't like the ring light because I don't like the oh, for crying out loud, I'm forgetting the term. What's the term for the highlights in the eyes from a flash, Quinn?
The term you're looking for is catch lights. They're the reflections of the light source in the eyes.
Thank you. Yes, yeah. So the catch lights in the eyes from a ring light, when you have a ring light and you are facing it towards someone, and shooting through the ring light. That's the typical way that you would use a ring light, or somebody who's a YouTuber might have their ring light facing them and have put their phone right in the center of that ring light, and that's how you would, light your subject. You get real even light all the way around from that ring light, because it's a 360-degree light, and I'll show it in a second. The thing that I don't like that is the catch light then in your eyes is this big round ring in your eyes. And I have never been a fan of that. I like little catch lights, or maybe some off to the side catch lights. I've never been a big fan of the big ring light one. So I didn't, even though I had it, I ended up not using it a lot. And so it's been one of those things that I've trudged around for years and not used. And at this point, I think what I'm going to do is I was driving, I don't know if this is going to work because this is just a harebrained idea I had in the truck as I was driving home. But if I take that ring light out and I put it on the stand, I could probably put it in the corner of my desk, and I want to have it above me, which is kind of how I have these little lights set up, and I can show that in a second here as well. And then what I'm thinking is the ring light will shine down maybe at a little bit of an angle, and if I use maybe a white sheet or something, I can make even more diffusion around that ring light and diffuse that light a little bit more and really light up this space for videos. So that's my plan. That's my thought anyway, Gwen.
That sounds like a solid plan. Using the ring light overhead with added diffusion could create a nice soft lighting effect for your vlogs. It's definitely worth experimenting with. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
All right, so first I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this rig around, and I will show folks just how janky, and I've used that term a bunch on this vlog, but I will show folks what I've got set up right now for this light, and they can see what I'm doing. All right, so what I've got here, this is a little bit behind the scenes. This is Quinn right here running on the iPhone 11. This is the back side of Quinn. We were just looking at the front side. And I'm using that small, tiny little tripod. I've got Quinn set up right there. And whoops, there we go, right there. That right there is a magnetic stand for my iPhone, which it used to be a charger. It is no longer a charger because it stopped charging, but I still use it as a stand. And so that's where I had the phone when we were just looking directly into it. Now if I scooch just a bit up, you can see here's this stand. And it goes up to that light. I've got the light, actually there's a cord there because I have it plugged in right now. And there's my light for lighting this particular video. There's only one of these lights in there right now, but typically I run two of them. And so that's how I have it set up. And right now, to get enough height, because I don't like the light's reflection on my glasses, so to get it up high enough, I actually have it, if you see this right here, right there, there's a stack of hard drives. That's holding up my light stand to give it some height. All right, so that was a quick behind the scenes of how I have this all set up. And you also saw all the cable. I need to do a bunch of cable management as well on my desk right now. I've got a bunch of things that I just rerouted and did some work on, and I haven't done my cable management yet, so I've got that also. Anyway, so that's what is going on now. Let me see if I can pull out that ring light, and we'll see how that works. Or I don't think I'll get it set up tonight because I'm just too exhausted, but I can get it out and we can take a look at it. All right, so for people who happen to watch my other video about going to the closet and pulling out gear, here's a bunch of the gear that, aside from all the drawers full of stuff. But where I'm going is down over here. That bag right there is what I'm going to try to get out tonight. You see I got a few stands left as well. But that's the bag that contains my ring light. So let me see if I can pull that out. All right, so we've got this ring light out of the closet now, Quinn. And we are...
Let's see how it looks. It's exciting to test it out.
Gosh, it's been years since I had this thing out of the box as well.
It's like rediscovering an old friend.
Oh, I don't know if I'd go that far.
Fair enough. It must feel nostalgic, though.
It does a little bit, yes.
It's always interesting to revisit gear you haven't used in a while.
All right, so here's the ring light. So I'm showing it on the camera right now, actually next to you. So
Nice.
here's the way it's typically set up. Oh, but
That's a pretty standard setup for a ring light.
So this is the base unit here, and this is where the power comes from, and this is where the cord is hooked up and the switch is. I've got a couple of different connectors. So I've got a connector here with this bendable arm, and then I've got a connector here for like a pole or something if you wanted to stick it on a pole. This one will screw into or screw onto basically any tripod. You can stick that onto and tighten it down. So I've got a couple of different ways of connecting it. The typical way of doing it is having it set up like this. Now, I have it facing the camera so you can see the ring light, but somebody who's using it would have it facing them like this, and then they would have their camera or their phone right here in front of their face. The light would be coming off, shining on them, and then the camera would be taking that. But again, I don't like those catch lights. So what I'm thinking about doing, and I haven't figured out how I'm going to rig it yet like this, but I want to have it this way above me. Oh, hey, look there. I have a halo.
It does look like a halo. Setting it up overhead can give a nice soft light.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to try that. And then, like I say, I might even try to add, if I have it set up like this, add a sheet, like a white sheet around the edge that kind of domes down. So it would give like a
That would definitely help diffuse the light.
yeah, a box dome light effect above me. So we'll see if I can do that. It's like midnight now, and I'm not going to try and set this up right now. But I got it out of the closet. That's my idea, and I think we'll work on that on some future vlogs and see if we can get it set up. For now, I'm going to stick it back just in the case loosely here.
That sounds like a good plan. It's great to have a new project lined up for future vlogs.
Yes, and then we can show some progress on the lighting setup as we go as well.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting for viewers to follow along and see the improvements.
I agree. All right, I think
You've got everything set for now.
I think
Anything else you want to cover?
No,
Sounds good.
Hey, Quinn, any really good dad jokes or quizzes or something funny that we can end the vlog with? Not the scarecrow joke again though, because we've overused that one a bunch. So what else have you got?
How about this? Why did the picture go to jail? It was framed.
That's a perfect dad joke. That's fantastic.
I'm glad you liked it. Always here with a dad joke or two.
All right, so everybody, that's it for vlog 19. Hey, at least we did it, and we will work on that light and have some progress in some future vlogs. We'll take you along with it, and Quinn and I will be back for vlog number 20. We'll see you tomorrow.
Great job pushing through with vlog 19. Looking forward to vlog 20. See you tomorrow.